Morris. Today I'll be presenting over actually my nutrition plan, and as an athlete. Currently I'm 19. I'm a male at 6'1", 180 pounds. My nutrition goals are focused on getting high in protein, high in carbs, while keeping my fats and sugars intake pretty low. Foods I like: steak, chicken, turkey, beef, bacon, eggs, potatoes, rice, and fruit. Foods I dislike: mostly vegetables, meaning I'm just not a big vegetable person. I don't like the flavor, texture throws me off. Like broccoli, green beans are okay, but just most vegetables I'm just not a fan. I can't really do it. Special dietary needs, I don't really have any. My supplements I use is like creatine and pre-workout. That's about all I use. So my assessment form, typical times for meals and snacks: breakfast 8 a.m. to 10 a.m, lunch 12 p.m. to 2 p.m, dinner about 5 to 7, and then I try not to snack on anything around 8, because I try to snack on anything after 8, because I've just heard stuff about that's when you're your highest. You want a sweet treat, after your last meal. You're like, okay, I'm settled in, I want a sweet treat, this looks good, sounds good, snacks, like candy. I try to avoid that. Concerns with intakes of specific nutrients. I used to take way too much protein, and it can make you bloat and can lead to constipation. Too many fats is bad for your organs, and too many carbs can lead to blood sugar spikes. What misconceptions about nutrition did the person have? My misconception would be that I tend to intake way too much protein. So, meaning I thought, if I'm weighing 160 pounds and I'm wanting to gain weight, I eat 170 grams of protein per day, and I'm gaining a little bit of weight. Okay, why not eat 200 grams of protein, speed up the process a little bit, and then that actually works. How about I try to eat 220 grams of protein a day? And just down the line, that just ends up being horrible for you, and it's not healthy at all, and it really doesn't benefit you at much more, if any, than just eating the normal 170 grams, what it recommends. And what misconceptions about nutrition did the person have? My misconception. Oh no, sorry, just did that. Sorry. What were the two most important nutritional fat issues for this person? I would say lift hard and eat too much junk foods. So I would say that I would lift super hard and train every day. I'd do cardio, I'd hit abs, I'd do all the mobility flex, and then I would just eat too much junk food. I just a bag of chips, a couple a day, and then I would, instead of eating a protein bar, I would want cereal. I'd eat cereal, and it was just a lot of it was just putting a lot of unnecessary fat on me that I didn't need, because I was working out super hard, not seeing the results that I wanted, and that was all because of just my poor choices. Because all the results comes from the nutrition part of it. It's literally 75 to 80% of training is in the kitchen. And secondly, so I eat a lot of protein throughout the day. Every meal, even if I go out to eat at a restaurant, I'm just always looking okay, what has the most protein in it? What's high in protein? And how can I get my protein in with this meal? And then I'll go lift, and I'll lift, and then I'll eat after for a while. I'll just not really be hungry, and I wasn't getting protein in right after my lift. And then down the line, after taking this nutrition class and everything, I realized there's a 45 to an hour minute span, or a 30-minute to an hour span window after your lift that is the most optimal to get your protein in, and that is where you get your most gains from and your most nutritional benefits. Here, we'll move on. Okay, so as you can see here, my diet was very bad. I was weighing 150-ish pounds. This would have been a while back. So I've been weighing about 150 pounds. I've always been skinny my life, super skinny. You know, I've always played baseball. I've always been an athlete, sport freak. Like, I just want to play everything. Every activity I do, I just want to be really good at. So, you know, I get in the gym, I start working out, and I'm just like, I'm not seeing any results. I'm not eating. Obviously, I wasn't eating. And I try to eat a lot, finish my meals. And I'm just not getting the results I want. I'm working out hard. I'm not eating. So I went on some crazy bulk. I wanted to gain about 2 pounds a day. I was recommended eat about 3,365 calories a day, 194 grams of protein a day, 484 carbs a day, 129 grams of fat a day. And I was training 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7. You know, it's usually 5, you know, Monday through Friday. And, you know, Saturday I like to do some extra stuff, you know, get some good cardio in, maybe abs, you know, some shoulders, just something, you know, because I just feel like I always needed to get something done. I'm super active. And so that's that 6-part, you know, 5 to 6 days a week. And I at least try to get a gallon to a gallon and a half of water, or 8 to 10 bottles of water, whatever you want to call it. This plan brought me up to 195 actually, but I was super bulky, like I said. I mean, there was days I was eating, as you can tell what I wrote, there was days where I was eating there were days where I was eating 250 plus grams of protein, 5,000 plus calories, and you're gonna see it on this next slide, or not the next one, but the one after is, I was eating, you know, 650 plus carbs, and this was multiple days. This wasn't just one day that I was doing this, because, like I said earlier, you know, I would eat 4,000 calories, 190 grams of protein, 500 grams of carbs, and I was putting on a little bit of weight. So why not eat 250 grams of protein and 5,000 calories? I mean, there was a day where I ate 8,500 calories with 400 grams of protein and 1,000 grams of carbs, and that's just not good for your body. And I realize that now. I wouldn't change anything that I did, because it helped me put on some really great muscle that I still have today, and we'll get into that in here in a minute. But it's just not good for your body, and and obviously from what I've learned from this class, what I was doing was absolutely horrible for my body, and I know that now, and that's okay. You live and you learn, you know. So this is approximately about 23% protein, 58% carbohydrates, and 34% fat. So higher in carbs. I am big on getting my carbs. I think carbs, you know, make you more vascular. I feel leaner and better, and I feel more energized when my body's fueled with carbs, and I just, you know. So we'll move on here. After, that was the before. After, I'm goal about roughly 2,500 calories a day, 171 grams of protein, 332 grams of carbs, 95 grams of fats a day. And this is still training 5 to 6 times a week with at least a gallon a day, 8 to 10 bottles. But I was focusing on right around the exact number. I wasn't trying to excuse me, sorry. I wasn't trying to force the progress. I was trusting the process, you know, getting my 170 grams of protein, eating roughly 2,000 to 2,300 calories a day, getting just below my fats, right at my carbs, fueling up with carbs before my lifts, fueling my body with protein after my lifts and electrolytes. Super focused on my body, and in the long run, I feel better, I look better, I'm faster. As an athlete, this benefits everything that I do in baseball. So this is perfect. I mean, these percentages are approximately about roughly 24% protein, 46.3% carbs, and 29.8% fats. Once again, a little bit higher on the carbohydrates. I still think even on trying to lose a little bit of weight and lean out and get quicker, I think carbohydrates just, they just fuel my body. I feel better, and yeah. So we'll move on here. I'm gonna go ahead and read this one. Turn this around here, and then we'll talk about it. So, which I could probably just say it, but so I'm waking up. I'm just gonna give a rough estimate here, kind of like. So I'm waking up before 10. I wanted at least 1,000, 1,500 calories a day. So I was going to Jimmy's Egg, get some pancakes, chocolate milk, something like that. And right after, 42-gram protein shake right there. Got to get some good protein powder. So that was Chick-fil-A donuts, something like that. Just high calorie. Get the calories in. That was like all I wanted. And then, right after that, some snack, 150 to 250 gram calories with 15 to 30 grams of carb or protein, whether that's a protein bar, protein Pop-Tart, protein cereal, something like that. And then next, my lunch, about 12 to 2, I tried to have my meals planned so I could get my calories in. I would eat my biggest meal here, very high in calories, like Mexican food, Chili's, even going to the calf at my school and just eating, like everything. Roughly about 1,500 to 2,000 calories with at least 50 grams of protein in there. And then right after that, I would usually take a nap, try to let my stomach just rest, settle. And then I would head to train. I would get a great lift in. I was working out super hard. I would get dinner, typically Chick-fil-A, Brahms, pizza, something super high in calorie, but I can get great protein in. It doesn't need to be super high in calorie, just 800 to 1,200 in this range with more protein. Protein, for example, like I'd get 3 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, which was roughly 1,100 to 1,300 calories and like 85 grams of protein. So, lastly, this would be around 11 or midnight, and I would just want to get a lot of calories in just to see that scale go up, which isn't what you need to do at all. And I would drink a half gallon of chocolate milk or strawberry milk just at night, right before I fall asleep, just chug it. I'd eat a lot of cereal, or I would go to Walmart and get an entire chocolate cake, vanilla cake. I'd switch it up, and there would be 2,000 plus calories, and it was miserable every night. It was horrible. After day of eating, so this is the after version. Now, honestly, I don't really typically do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I kind of just skip past it all. I don't focus on that. I don't think I need to have a meal at 8, and then a meal at 1, and then a meal at 6. Like, I eat when I'm hungry. I fuel my body before my lifts. I fuel my body after my lifts. Typically all I believe I need, and get my protein in. So I kind of eat at weird times, all depending on when I train. So, I'll either eat eggs with bacon and sausage, lower calories, a little bit of protein, good protein, or I'll just have like a high protein shake for breakfast just to get something in my body. For a snack before the gym, I'll eat 4 rice cakes with some fruit. Great for my body, helps with cramps, great carbs before I train. After I train, I'm going to get a great meal in. Lean, great protein, carbs, grilled chicken, ground beef with some white rice. Beautiful, beautiful meal, with a Coke Zero, just to keep no sugar. That's as good as it gets right there. After that meal, it's pretty fueling, but it's not, the highest in macros. So, I'll drink another protein shake after that, or a protein bar. Around 5 to 6, I'll eat again when I'm hungry. Try to get some good protein and good carbs, my meal. Some sort of protein, I like to use this for an example: steak, potatoes, like mashed potatoes or fries, something like that. Then after that, I'll have a good snack, like a decent snack. I love fruit. I'll eat some fruit for a little snack, and then I try not to snack on anything after 8 p.m., like I said. And then once again, I'm also trying to get 8 to 10 bottles of water a day. And that's it for my presentation. That bulk was absolutely miserable. I was eating way too much protein, way too much carbs. It was not good for my body. I would feel good for my lifts. I would feel miserable at night. I was pretty sloppy. I was super slow. It's not what I needed for baseball. It's not what I needed for any sport. Most activities I did, I was I don't regret it because I did. It did help me put on a lot of stuff that I have now. I've cut back down and I feel great. I hope this helps. Thank you for your time. And yeah, thank you.